capitalism and competition, as per him, are opposites. Reading Zero to Hero is like taking a peek into the mind of one of the most successful multi-billionaire investors alive today. He says, as a startup founder, you should not be looking for competition. All right, so we're going to be kayaking today, and I want to talk about Peter Thiel's book. I'm going to review it and go over what you need to learn from it. So actually, if you haven't read the book, you don't have to. And I'll go over this, go over the exact details that you need to know for your own startup journey. And those aspects are as useful today as they were about 10, 12 years ago when he actually wrote the book. Anyways, let's talk about this soon. So 0 to 1 is a collection of lectures delivered by Peter Thiel during his teaching years at Stanford, along with co-author and former student Blake Masters. So Thiel has put together a really hard-hitting set of standards for entrepreneurs, startups, thought leaders to carefully consider the aspect they need to carefully consider when building the next big thing for the future. For those who don't know who Peter Thiel is, that's going to be surprising. However, he has played a role in partnering with and inspiring and investing in some of the most successful technology startups and entrepreneurs in the US and probably around the world. And this includes people such as Elon Musk, who founded SpaceX, Tesla, Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn. Thiel himself, was part of the PayPal mafia. Reading Zero to Hero is like taking a peek into the mind of one of the most successful multi-billionaire investors alive today. And in this book summary, we will get into the top around 10 to 12 takeaways from his book, including the do's and don'ts of startups and what to focus on when you are building a startup, and insights into building $1 million businesses. Some local wildlife, some ducks. So in his first chapter, he talks about going from 0 to 1. He spends a great deal of importance in the first chapter putting into perspective the difference between going to N, which is doing more of what's already been done, versus going from 0 to 1, doing something that has never been done. The bottom line, challenge the status quo, think differently, and aim to go from 0 to 1 rather than from 0 to N or something that's already been done. The key here is, of course, innovation. Innovation, however, unfortunately goes thrown around in companies and different corporate cultures. It's like a buzzword. But the real meaning, the true meaning of innovation is creating and doing something that is totally new. Somebody loves Shawnee. Shawnee's famous now. I'm hearing that flag has been there for around 28 years. So there's a flag, teepee. Not really sure. Point number 2, I'm going to give you a view of the cliffs at the back. So what he says is that don't be afraid to ask contrarian questions. And he says is that conventional beliefs that are currently being accepted, they in retrospect down the line they will appear wrong. And whenever some of these beliefs collapse, that is always a bubble. But the distortions caused by the bubbles don't disappear when they pop. The internet craze, for example, in the 1990s was the best bubble since the crash of 1929, the stock market crash. And the lessons learned afterward define and distort almost all thinking about technology today. The first step to think clearly is to question what we think we know about the past. Question conventional wisdom. Oh no, they all left me. I'm going to have to catch up with them and then talk about the opposite principles that he wants us to believe in. All caught up now. All right, so what he wants us to do is risk boldness. He wants us to be bold, risk it. Then he says that a bad plan is better than no plan. So he wants you to do things, go forward and learn from your mistakes. And then he says is that competitive markets destroy profits. We all talk about, okay, it's a competitive market, but there is a lot of room. He does not want you to go into competitive markets if you can avoid it. And then he says is that sales matter just as much as the product. So sales is important. You have a product, doesn't really matter if you can't sell it. Baby, what do you see? See ducks? Baby, Aliyah. Yay. The third idea he talks about is the word competition. And I think we already talked about that a little bit, but he has a interesting way of putting it. He says that Americans love competition and Americans credit competition as something that is saving them from socialism. Actually, capitalism and competition, as per him, are opposites. Capitalism is based on the accumulation of capital, but under a perfect competition, that you don't have competition. Perfect competition is that you don't have any competition. However, if all your profits are competed away, then you have no business. So he does not want competition. The lesson he wants for entrepreneurs is actually clear. If you want to create and capture lasting value, don't build a commodity that is already available in the market. Be very differentiated. Have a niche that is separate from everybody else, that you don't have competition. And he says that if you're looking to build a company where there is lots of competition, you will definitely focus on beating the competition, but that is a one-way ticket to bankruptcy and in the court. So focus on dominating a small, defined niche market if you possibly can. Or if, for example, AI, you are the best in AI. There may be competitors, but you have the first mover's advantage. Then get that and don't worry about the competition. Beat the competition, leave the competition behind you. And he says that businesses are still making mistakes which people think they learned from the dot-com bubble and the crash. The next mistake he says people make is staying lean and flexible. He does not think that you should always stay lean. Then he says that people want to improve on competition. That's fine, but he also says that you don't want to improve just to beat your competition. That should not be your goal. And the last aspect that he talks about is that focusing on the product, not sales. So he says that people got the wrong impression from the dot-com bubble that you should focus on the product and not really sales, because we all know that sales is key. And according to Thiel, these lessons were mistakenly accepted as dogma for modern startups. Well, will you look at this? Private docks. A house on the lake. We put stuff here. We are going in this stream. Is it going downstream or upstream? Not really sure. It's not really moving much. The water does not seem to be moving much. I actually hear waterfalls, so let's see what's going to be happening. Hopefully my phone doesn't get wet. Let's see what's going to happen. Before that, number 4, he says to build a monopoly. Monopoly means new products that benefit everyone and provide sustainable profits for the maker. Competition, again, he says, means no profits for anybody and no meaningful differentiation of your product from anybody else. And the struggle for, meaningful differentiation, finding your niche, this is survival and this is success. And he does not agree with people who say that competition is good. Actually, yes. I think that is a waterfall, and I think we are going to be disembarking over here. We're leaving the boat and the paddle here. Let's see what's over there. Okay, so he asks that why do people feel that competition is healthy? The answer is that competition is not just an economic concept or a convenience that individuals and companies must deal with in the marketplace, or an inconvenience. More than anything, competition, he says, is an ideology, and an ideology that actually, according to him, actually disrupts society, distorts our thinking. He says, as a startup founder, you should not be looking for competition. He says that society, because we are against socialism and communism, we tend to preach competition. We say it is necessary, and we have like the 10 commandments of competition. We need competition in capitalism. Okay, look at that. Woohoo! Nice. I better get up there. And he says that as a result, we trap ourselves in competition. We think it is healthy and we are willing to dive into a pool of competition. And hey, there are other startups out there that is validating our product market fit. So let's dive into this competition. He does not want that. He wants it to be a monopoly for you. He says that the biggest example is back in the day, Google. Nowadays, things are moving so fast that Google doesn't know what to do and they have to change their business model. But Google was a monopoly. Nobody, Microsoft, Bing, Safari, nothing could compete against Google. And he talks about what are some of the characteristics of a monopoly. Let's talk about these now. Number one, he says, is proprietary technology. Technology that only you have. And this is the biggest advantage of a startup or a tech company, and it can set itself up because it makes it difficult to replicate the business. For example, back in the day, Google's algorithm made it the best search engine because competitors like Bing or Yahoo couldn't replicate it fast enough, and Google stole the market. Everybody was doing SEO, Google search engine optimization. So Google was the market, controlled the market. The next aspect of a monopoly is something called a network effect. So this monopoly is able to leverage people's ability, word of mouth, to spread the product and generate in 2024 and before 2024 and after 2024, generate virality by sharing it. People like it. Think about it being promoted, organic reach on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. So this monopoly needs to have virality. It has to have the network effect that actually propagates its message, and you don't need to spend ad dollars, even though Google can do it itself. To be honest, I don't think that Google does a good job in creating their ads. They have loads of products, and I think they could have reached a bigger market, but I don't think personally that Google runs good ads. Anyways, that was a side point. Okay, let me give you a few more views of this falls. I don't know, should I actually try to go up there? It's pretty nice. Then for a monopoly, there's a concept called economies of scale. That you are able to scale this product, right? Facebook can be scaled. Twitter can be scaled. OpenAI can be scaled. A yoga business cannot be scaled as such. You could, of course, build a business where you have yoga instructors and you have different training methods and you have courses for yoga. You could do that. But just simply opening up your own shops of yoga may not be able to scale as much, and you will need a lot of on-the-ground work before you are able to scale, and you have to manage a lot. So yoga cannot scale. Google, OpenAI, it can scale. All right, we are heading out. I think he summarizes what is a monopoly. He says that you have to ask yourself a question. What valuable company that nobody is building yet? Can you build that valuable company that nobody else is building? Then that is going to be a monopoly. Then for number 5, he says is that you have to become a definite optimist. And he said hundreds of people have started multi-million-dollar businesses, billion-dollar businesses. Steve Jobs, Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk. And he says that if success is mostly a matter of luck, these kinds of serial entrepreneurs probably wouldn't be existing, that anything they actually touch becomes gold. Look at Elon Musk, takes time, but everything seems to be turning to gold. Jack Dorsey, everything turns to gold. Whatever they actually do. Steve Jobs, it was not just Apple. He had that company, animation company, I forgot the name, I should be forgetting. But anyways, whatever he touched turned to gold. And he says in the book that way back in January 2013, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter and Square, he tweeted to his 2 million followers at the time. 2 million followers back in 2013 was pretty good. Of course, it was his own company as well. He said that success is never accidental. Success is never accidental. Now we are going to be heading all the way back. So he says that people say that successful people are just, lucky. The truth is that is what he says in the book. That is really the case, and that is true. When an individual succeeds, they have usually planned on making that happen. He says that if you want to be successful, whether with a startup or any personal endeavor, he recommends what he says, that figure out what you want, why you want it, figure out what you want, why you want it, and develop a long-term plan for the future and execute it. And that's it. Figure out what you want, why you want it, and develop a plan for it. And then it's all up to the execution. Now, number 6 is leverage the power of exponential growth. And he gives an example that Albert Einstein supposedly said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Not Warren Buffett. I know he has popularized it, but it seems that Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. This is described as the greatest mathematical discovery of all time, or even the most powerful force in the universe. So whether, he said it or not, the power of exponential growth remains one of the most powerful phenomena known to man. And keep in mind that as you build your business and create powerful technologies for the future, exponential growth, if you're able to achieve that, that is what is going to be leading you to success. Not just random multiplication or addition. You need exponential growth to actually succeed. Number 7 is the power law. Find something that can power you. So he says that venture-backed companies are likely to succeed in monumental amounts more than non-venture-backed companies. And he says that the power law tells us that there is a Pareto's principle that tells us that the effort of a few 20% is responsible for the majority of the results. Effort of the few 20% is responsible for a majority of the results, the 80% of the results. So keep that in mind. Find things that can leverage you, that can propel you forward. And getting funding, getting investors is a way to propel faster. So we know that startup ecosystems and countries that are able to get money, that have venture backing, and they are, they may not have the best idea, but if you have the money, you can build the product quickly, you can market the product quickly, and in a country or a geographical area that you don't have funding assistance, you may not be as successful. We are back where the cliffs are. Number 8. Now this is important. You have to build a team of superstars. And he says that the first team he built was the PayPal Mafia, because so many of his former colleagues have gone to be successful in their own right, possibly even more. For example, Elon Musk, SpaceX, Tesla Motors, the Boring Company, and you don't know what else he has up his sleeve. Then you have Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn. You have Chad Hurley, Javad Karim, and I believe Steve Chen, who together they founded YouTube. Then Jeremy Stoppelman and Russell Simmons, I believe, founded Yelp. And you had David Sachs. I believe he is in the All In podcast now. If any of you watch that podcast, he founded Yammer. And he says that those companies, of course, he doesn't need to say it. Those companies are worth billions of dollars, each and every one of them. The lesson that he talks about is that assemble a dream team of startup superstars, and surround yourself with talented and driven individuals who will help you achieve your own goals and take your company to new heights. 9. Sales matter. Sales matter as much as the product itself. So he says is that even if you build the best product in the world, it won't matter if you don't have a way to get it in front of the right customers. And he does say, of course, that many entrepreneurs fall into the trap of thinking that their great product will sell by itself, right? But sales are as important as the product itself. Sales are as important as the product itself. So many. Maybe they're all having a huge family gathering. This duckling is alone. Everybody else went the other way. I mean, it's actually going towards the other ducks. However, it's all alone. Not sure what to do. Number 9, he talks about company culture. And he says that a strong company culture is essential for your success. Your company, because that is the glue that holds you together and looks to drive everyone towards a common goal. Everybody needs to be motivated. And he said that without a strong company culture, even the most talented teams can fall apart. So company culture, building a company culture means that you are having shared values, you have clear communication, you set the tone how you will be communicating, and there has to be a sense of purpose that resonates with all of the team members. The number 11 is timing. Now, I would actually put timing at the top, because if the market is flowing in one direction, right, then that's the best time to get into anything. So he puts it at number 11. That's fine with me. And he said the timing is the most critical of the factors, and I believe that to be true. And there actually was a TED talk talking that timing is the number one aspect whether your startup is going to succeed or fail, because that's it. Because timing needs to be perfect to be a highly successful company. And he says that being too early can be just as detrimental. Woohoo. Hey. Okay, I gotta stop this now. All right. Okay, a couple of waves on this lake. Anyways, let me get centered and let me move out of here, and then we'll talk a little more about timing. This timing was not that great. So as we were saying, that being too early can be just as detrimental as being too late. If the sail is behind you, the tailwinds are behind you, and you are going down the hill, and you are rowing downstream, then all of this, then the whole universe is there helping you out towards your goal, and the whole universe is there moving you, propelling you forward, and you're making your millions and your billions by the help of the whole ecosystem that is pushing you forward. So timing is key. Time is key. Home stretch now. All right, we made it to dry land. So number 12 and the last one is stay focused and keep moving forward, because entrepreneurship is long and a challenging journey, and it is easy to get distracted by new opportunities and discouraged by setbacks. But it is crucial to stay focused on your vision, keep moving forward, no matter what obstacles you face. Thank you.